What it do, Modified family? I'm at work right now. I'm not starting till about noon just because I have all day to get my work done and there's not a lot. So I've been on a roll making videos. I mean, just getting videos out. Not that anyone stops to watch them, but that's okay. I do it because I love it. I don't do it because I'm getting paid. I have a job. That's why I'm here now. But as you saw in the video I posted second to last, I finished painting my EK. Now, my friend who wants to buy it is chomping at the bit. He's like, man, I want to get this car. So I want to make sure that I have everything that I promised him that will go along with this car. And then today, I want to take you along as we're just going to button up a few things and comment if you would like, if you think this is a good deal or not. So this whole car is going for $3,000. Now, there's more than $3,000 worth of work that went into the engine. I mean, that's not including like buying the car or the wheels or any part of it, but we'll go over a few things, kind of like a show and tell. But first, you know what you got to do? You got to give me 5 on my black hand side, and let's go. Okay, story time. If you don't want a bunch of exposition, just skip this video while we're talking about Hondas. So ain't no need to go. All right, here we go. So when this car started its life, it had a D-Series motor. It started with a D16 Y7, and then I ended up buying a whole 99 Civic EX for $100. Paid $100 to tow it to my house. Sold everything I could off this car, which was very 90s. It was very heavily modified, not in a good way, but in a very cheesy, like wide body way. And so I used to have a long intake tube that came behind this bumper, and I wanted to make sure it got maximum air. So I put this rear diffuser on here, bent it around here. I got the idea from an Instagram friend named Esteban. I think his screen name is Midnight Marathon. I have not talked to him for a long time, but I miss him. We never got to meet in person. He lives somewhere on the east side of the United States, but he's a really cool dude. I think he follows our channel. So coming around, I had a close personal friend that I'm no longer close with, and I had this idea. I wanted to make these custom track fenders because I saw the ones where you cut off the lower part of your fender, and I thought that wasn't very stable or clean. So I ended up cutting into my stock fender with literally woodworking tools, 'cause that's what I had access to, and I made it look like this. And then my friend came in and said, that's close, but let's do it the right way. So he welded in plates in the top and bottom that were similar metal and thickness. Then he did a little body filler. And so these are all metal, no fiberglass, literally custom fenders. I wanted to put in the side marker, never got around to that. The same thing happened on the hood. I wanted some hood vents, so I went with this. Once again, all welded in. Could definitely use a little bit of body filler to smooth out that weld because we didn't have a grinder that could get in there at the time. But it came out really well. That's all welded in. This is steel. And I just didn't measure correctly. I should have gone up another couple of inches. So we just made this cutout so that way you were not hitting the radiator cap. So that's the front end. Body, Amazon used to sell these dope manual JDM style mirrors. And so I had these on 2 of my cars. These are replicas, but they are really well done replicas. They work good, they fold in. Coming around. This side of the body is pretty clean. There's no body damage. The title for this car is also clean. It is not salvaged, which is very rare for a car like this. Coming around to the back, I have the C-pillar bar, I have the rear strut bar, and I have the blocks harness bar because I did intend on tracking this. I cleaned a lot of the sound deadening material out of the back from under the seats. That's as far as I got on that. And the stereo does work. The speakers are currently unplugged just because I'm using the magnet of said speakers to stick to the metal, and as you drive aggressively and they shift around. So that can definitely be fixed, especially with all the extras that are coming along with the sale of this car. Coming around to this side, this is the only side with a little bit of body damage. There's like that scoring along here above the wheels. So quick aside on the wheels, these wheels are Rhoda Auto X rims. I got them in Santa Maria. It's about an hour south of where I currently live, and I wanted to powder coat them that Mugen bronze color, and they came out really good. And then on these tires I can run 205 or 195, which I think is what's on there now, 50/15s, and that tucks perfectly. The tires don't rub. It's great. I found these seats out of RSX. They were leather. They cost like 150 bucks. I picked them up in Greenfield. That's almost an hour, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less away from where I live, still currently. And the leather was garbage. So I asked everyone, hey, upholstery's really expensive. Do you know anybody that does upholstery? And of course I got, oh yeah, I know somebody. $1,800. These legit cost $1,800. They redid them in two-tone suede, both black, vented in the middle, red stitch because I wanted to look Type R-esque. And then I was afraid to sit in my car because I wanted to keep these seats super clean and not ripped. And they cost more than the car should have cost to buy. I think I bought this car in Los Banos, which is a couple hours to the east of where I live. And it cost 2,400 bucks. So I overpaid for it, but I wanted it because it had GSR saw blades on it. Everything in here is pretty stock. That's just a Civic EX gauge cluster, and that's just the way to go because it's got a built-in tack, so you don't need a monster odometer tack like back in the early 2000s. Everyone was running those and just getting pulled over because of it. This steering wheel is from an EP3 actually. It's actually from my old EP3 because I bought it from my friend, and then I ended up buying the whole car later for 500 bucks, but I still have the steering wheel. All right, now we're under the hood. This was the big cash cow. This is where most of the money went on this build. This is really what installing this car you are paying for. So this is a GSR. It is a B18C. Also the transmission is matching GSR. These are DC Sports headers as well, or header. This is not a Type R. I would have loved for it to have been a Type R. I got this whole swap way early in the 2000s for $400 because the guy was going K. And so I was able to strike while the iron was hot, drove down to Santa Maria. Because everything I get for my cars, I will drive all over the state to pick up. So this one's pretty cool. Something you might notice is the headlight harness is tucked. We just push it through the outside hole right there. You depin the harness, push it through, run everything along the outside. You can zip tie it to the frame rail, and then it connects and all the lights and everything works. Other modifications are, since there was no air conditioning in this, running a full-size Integra radiator. Another friend of mine is installing an LS into his EK, and he's like, hey man, I think I have the wrong size hoses because they're the right size over here and it's too big on this piece. And I was like, yeah, that's what happens to everyone because the Integra one has a thicker inlet and outlet on the radiator than the Civic does. So either you do what I did, or you go with an expensive aftermarket one for an Integra, which will also have a thicker one of these. You can still get it in the half size, or you just use your stock one and you crank the heck out of this until it's tight. Stock intake box, I just like the way it looks the best. What else do we have going on the outside? Besides the header, we have a California legal as well, intake manifold. So that's pretty cool. Usually the GSR has that snail shell one that has the IABs in there, but this one I took it off. Everything on here is designed to be more like the Type R, so we're running stiffer mounts on all three that are holding the engine, no torque mounts. As you can see, that is the factory, what do you do there? Boom, factory Type R pulley. In the internals, I went with H-beam rods, as well as P73 Type R pistons. So we redid the rings, we cleaned up this whole motor. On the top end, usually these only come with dual valve springs on this cam, but I had another set and I put them on the exhaust cam, which should allow for stability and a higher revving. Also, this has Skunk 2 Tuner 1 cams. That's the only one legal in California because obviously I live in California, so everything has to be up to snuff for California. I mean, except for this, I need to run a hose from there to there, then it would technically be legal. And I don't know if I have the tag for these, but they should, or they were legal. But you can always run a stock manifold, but not a problem. It runs great. Lightweight flywheel, 6-putt clutch. So this thing does scoot pretty easy. But yeah, that's where most of the money on this build went. Oh, very last thing. I wanted a somewhat tucked engine bay, so I tried to clean everything up in here. And this was my first engine bay painting experience, so I did learn a lot. It's not perfect. All this overspray up there was done when I painted the engine bay, not when I actually painted the car. That was all covered this time. But down there, there's an S2000 clutch master cylinder, and that makes for a very, very comfortable and easy shifting, even with the more extreme 6-puck racing clutch. As for lowering, I have TN springs on the front and rear. I think 1.9 in the front drop, 1.7 in the rear, and then Skunk 2 struts on all 4. I'm very a product of the generation and time I grew up in, so that's why I went without coilovers and went with the strut spring combo, and I tried to shell out for both of those. This has a stock cat under it, but it's also going to come with a brand new cat because I am that kind of guy. And then it has a really nice resonator, and then it has a replica spoon muffler under here. I had this mounted professionally. Also other things, those are actual Skunk 2 lower control arms. Actually found those at the junkyard. And then this is just one of those eBay kits with the sway bar and subframe brace. So the suspension on this thing is very nice, very tight. I think I need one more bracket. I think I lost one of the 2 on the side, but that should be a pretty easy fix. What else? This, like all my Civics, has rear disc brakes because I went to the junkyard, found rear trailing arms off an Acura Integra. So I bought both of those. They bolt right in, making sure I had the e-brake cable to make for a really simple swap. They pretty much just bolt in, bleed the brakes, and you're good to go. And then also Integra fronts. I don't feel like you need to shell out a bunch of money. I think I spent $150. It's funny because I went to buy this same setup, but I bought the front first. It cost $150, and I bought the rear. It cost $150. Then I went back for this car to get its brakes all Integra, and I asked for both the front and the rears at the same time. And you know how much it was? $150. So the more you buy at the junkyard, they usually give you better deals. But that's just what's basically going on with this car. Oh, also it has a Civic EX front strut tower bar. Sorry, front sway bar. It does have a strut bar, which is not attached, but I will show that as well. So let's get to, like I said, the icing on the cake. So not only is this all going for $3,000, and you already heard about how much the car costs, all the work I put into it, right? And all that just gets distilled down to a selling price of $3,000. So we've already, I mean, between the seats and some of the interior stuff, we've already eclipsed that price tag. The motor alone costs more than that with all the upgrades on the inside and outside. But I also have, and obviously today I'm gonna get these all wiped down before I load it in the car. This was also a video to show my friend the stuff that's coming with it. These are the rear plastics, dusty, but should be undamaged. So both passenger and driver's side, these should be the seat belts, both the shoulder belts and the center belt. I don't know if I have all these connectors, but this is going to be a lot better than having nothing. I did sell the rear seat a long time ago. Dash pieces, these are the speaker covers, these are the kick panels. How many times have you gotten to a Honda and it has not had these kick panels? This should be the original carpet. You can see how it was a darker gray, but over its life it has faded. So I'm going to give this a quick vacuum, and I'm not going to have time to install it because I do have to get to work. I mean, start working at work, but this will also be included, but I definitely want to get it cleaned. So all he has to do is throw it in and then throw all these in because they'll also be wiped down. This is coming along with it because I wanted to run that cool flipped up backyard special. So it's the backyard special rep wing. So that comes along with the deal too. This is going to cover all the wires under the steering wheel. I should have the passenger side one. I will find that before Sunday. This is my Mugen rep strut bar that comes along with it. I think it already has this, but I'm throwing it anyway because I'm also trying to clear out my garage. This is another holy grail type piece. This is the privacy cover for the hatch. Most places are missing that, most hatches, and they want hundreds plus for those. Obviously, we need to have the glove box. These are just some spare rods to hold the trunk. Mine are good, but it's good to have a second set. These are real Type R headers. I went all the way to Vegas to get these. They're a little smashed on the bottom, but in my Type R copy mentality, I just wanted to get everything that was like the Type R. So I got the Skunk intake manifold. Armrest, this is from a Civic EX. It matches the interior, color of the vinyl and of the top piece. Yeah, and the bracket is already on the e-brake because you also need the bracket. It'll also be super wobbly. So that's already installed. That's always been on. And that just makes driving this car so much more comfortable. I love armrests. I put them in my cars if they don't have them, like in my Honda Fit and in my EP3. I ordered the cheap cup holder ones that sit in the back cup holder. This is a CD player. It should work. It plugs into the factory stereo. I feel like everyone pulls the stereo out for better ones, but that's included because you get the cup holders. These are some more extras, 6x9s and front door speakers, just better than the factory paper ones. I'm pretty sure the front ones are stock and the back ones are Pioneers, but nothing special. These are much better. That is a brand new in the box MagnaFlow California legal high flow catalytic converter that should allow you to pass smog and or ref. This was another holy grail piece I got in Vegas. This should be the Type R. I think it's the 97, I believe. I think the first Civic Type R was 97 and up. So this is OBD2A, which is the same wiring as this. So I've plugged this in before. It does work. And then the last thing is this 70mm throttle body. I was waiting until I got the exhaust redone to put the computer on, and also to get this brand new 70mm throttle body in there. So all these things come with this deal, and I'm gonna wipe everything down, and then I'm gonna very carefully stack everything into the hatch. And then this bad boy is gonna be ready to sell. And so I hope that my friend is pretty stoked on this. If he does not take it, just start forming a line. If you are interested, you will definitely get more than you are paying for. All right, so here's the final summation. I got this vacuumed. It's really good to pressure wash this and shampoo it, but I mean, it's good to go in like this. There's no holes in this carpet, just a little grease and embedded dirt from 20 plus years of existence. So what, 1996, 2026, like 30 years. Now I knocked a good 20 years of dust off the front and backs of these and all the other plastic pieces and try to give them a good wipe down. So at least they look a little bit more refreshed. So they are ready to go in. Pressure wash would be a little bit better. I'm gonna see if I have these light covers for the taillight covers. I know I have the covers for the speakers. Those are already in the car. So I'm just loading everything in here. And I'm actually gonna lock this car because usually I just leave it open because it's really hard to steal because you gotta know how to turn on the fuel pump. But yeah, I just wipe down all the pieces I can. Try to stack things in here in a organized fashion. So yeah, I'm just gonna get the rest in there. And as you can see, like, if I was to go further with this car, you know, I could pull off the taillights. I could pull off all the plastic trim in here, and I could just finish the paint job on there, as well as in the door sills on both of them. And it probably just needs just some finishing work, you know, like on the paint job, just to really smooth it out, make it 100% smooth. And then this has gloss in it, but like a 2K clear with the hardener would make this paint job look professional, because it'll clean up all the little bits that I notice every time I walk by. So that is the driver's side door sill, and I just gotta find the passenger one, but then this thing is ready to sail. So I'm gonna get these big pieces in, then I'm gonna lock this up, post this video, and hope for the best on Sunday.